Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Healthy Beyond 40 podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about crunches and belly fat because recently I've been trying to go to a yoga class. We have a YMCA membership, and as I'm in the class, I see the instructors do some core training in a way that I want to do it. So in this episode, I really want to help give you some principles of how to do core work correctly that can really help to support your core and not make things worse. For so long, we've been told to do crunches, do sit-ups, flatten our belly, but honestly, some of this stuff is outdated and it really doesn't work when we look at it from a muscle perspective and a whole body perspective. And as you're listening to this, because most of you are just listening and you cannot see me, if this is something you're struggling with, I encourage you to sign up for my free 5-day core challenge. And I show you exactly how to start training your core in under 5 minutes a day. There's going to be a link in the description of this episode where you can sign up. It's about 5 minutes a day and really gives you these principles and specific exercises that you can do, and you'll have me to show you how to do those. So make sure you guys check that out. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, so let's first start why crunches aren't the answer. And that includes sit-ups. It includes any exercises that have a crunch in it, is because it doesn't engage your whole core, especially if you don't know how to do that. If you can learn some of these things I teach when I teach core training, then you might be able to do crunches or sit-ups. So as women, especially women who have become pregnant, but really this happens in men, I've seen it in children, where we have the split down the middle of our abdominal muscles, called that diastasis recti, where if we were looking at someone who didn't have much body fat, we'd see the six-pack, and there would be this line down the middle. There would be this split. And we don't want that. And if we are to become pregnant, that split naturally opens up, up to 2 finger widths is normal because it makes room for the baby. So we want that flexibility in the stomach muscles, but to really have a strong core, we want that more zipped up. And also our pelvic floor muscles are tied in with our core too. So after my 4th child, who is now just turned 8 years old, I really stopped doing crunches completely. And I focused on engaging my deep core muscles. So if you can feel your hip bone to hip bone, like in front on your stomach, there's a muscle that goes across there called the transverse abdominis. And this muscle, when we engage that, it helps to zip the 6-pack part of our muscles, the upper abdominals, together. So we always want to be engaging this lower abdominal muscle so it zips up our top muscles and really helps to make our core strong. So after my 4th baby, I did this better core training and focus on my transverse abdominis, making sure that that was always zipped up, not doing crunches or sit-ups, or even like a ton of core work, because I think sometimes we can just get carried away with the core work. That space between my abdominal muscles where we could see that visual 6-pack, not that you could see that on me, but that came together and it was probably the closest it had ever been because I was training my core correctly. So this is really key, and it doesn't matter. This is great for males, females, children, because I've seen it in everybody where we have this bigger split and it really leads to a weaker core. So when we think about core training, there's 2 things I really want you to focus on. And this is engaging those deep core muscles, that transverse abdominis. It can be a tricky muscle to engage. And as you guys, if you join the 5-day core challenge, you're going to see how to do this and really take your time with it, because we have to learn how to engage that muscle. And especially when you advance to harder exercises like plank or something where you're laying on your back and using your legs, this muscle needs to be engaged for you to do that correctly and for those six-pack muscles to not splay open. And the second component of core training is to strengthen your back. So our stomach and our back are all connected. So we have to strengthen both parts of those and sort of learn how those work together. So, and even within our core, our glutes are connecting to our back and our core. Our pelvic floor is. So we want to make sure that we're not just doing crunches or sit-ups and engaging some of these muscles. Anytime we do core work, we want to make sure that we are engaging and hitting all of these muscles. And we never want to do an exercise where we can't engage that transverse abdominis, that lower, deeper abdominal muscle. And this is the problem when I'm in a yoga class or even watching something on YouTube, is what I see is a teacher teaching some advanced core exercise, but thinking anybody can do it. And maybe the person starts getting that low back, is arching up, coming off the mat because they can't hold the lower abdominal in, or they were never even taught that in the first place. And so they're doing these harder core exercises with their abdominal muscles sort of splayed apart instead of like zipped up and tucked in. So it's really important that you can understand these principles I teach. And then if you are in a class or you are doing something else, is that you can use those principles. So when I'm in a yoga class, sometimes I'm not even doing exactly what the teacher is doing. Like if there's some crunch, I'm typically keeping my head on the ground. So you can modify or do things differently. And it's not like we have to push our core muscles so hard or to fatigue. And we're typically then also fatiguing our back muscles or hip flexors or these other muscles because it's like just too much. So sometimes with core work, it's better definitely to go slower, get the form, make sure that you can breathe while you're doing it. And when it comes to exercise, if you're really looking for something more than just my 5-day core challenge and you want a full workout plan that teaches you how to move, what to do, and what works for women in 40s and beyond, I have a Healthy for Life membership. And I haven't talked about this too much, but I just switched platforms that it's hosted on. So right now I have a free 30-day trial. I usually don't have a free trial, so this is a great time to check it out. I have different workout programs in there, like Fit Fusion, different yoga ones, and then I have a whole library of classes too. So you can have a workout plan to follow. You're going to have core training that's safe and effective. Also, strength training for the whole body. You're going to learn how to exercise correctly, a variety of workouts that aren't going to kill your joints, and guidance so you're not guessing what to do or searching on YouTube trying to find your next workout. So check the description down below for that link to check out my Healthy for Life membership. And I also, as a bonus right now, in my Healthy for Life membership, I also have my mindset course, the self-coaching system, and I have a nutrition course, Healthy Inside and Out, in there too. So that is a new bonus to it. So it is loaded, so it's an awesome time to check it out. All right, the next piece that I want to talk about when it comes to our stomachs is muscle versus fat around our stomach. And people ask, like, how do I lose this belly fat? And so the first thing I want you to keep in mind is that God created women to have more fat than men. So we're not supposed to be super skinny where we can see all of our muscles. We're meant to have some more fat. We're meant to have some more stores on our body. Men were created to typically have more muscle than women. So I just want you to keep that in mind so that we're not comparing ourselves, especially to men, or someone will say, like, my husband is losing weight so much faster. Let's stay in our lane and know that we are equal in dignity, but we are created a little different. So women have more fat than men, and they typically have a little less muscle. And the other thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you are going through perimenopause, the time before menopause and menopause, hormones can be out of whack. And I have different episodes about that. I've had 2 doctors on the podcast. I will try to link their episodes in the description too, because our hormones can have an impact here. And it does come back to things like stress, sleep, our habits, all these different things we want to have in place to create the best environment for our body. And when we're thinking this muscle versus fat around our stomach, most people want to lose some of the belly fat, and they think that crunches are the answer or some type of core workout. But those are two different things, right? The muscle, when we want to strengthen our muscle, that's going to help us to have stronger muscles and a stronger core, help prevent injury, help our posture, so many good things. But that really doesn't have much to do with the fat that we have around our stomach. So if we have fat around our stomach, we're not just going to be working on crunches or some ab program. If we want to lose the fat around our stomach, we have to also think about things like movement. Am I getting enough movement to increase my metabolism? Am I doing a full body strengthening to increase my muscle mass and increase my metabolism? How is my diet? Am I getting enough protein? Am I overeating? So if you're looking to lose fat, we want to look at all of those things. Really, the core exercises don't matter if your goal is to lose fat. Of course, I encourage you to do core exercises, but I want you guys to really see that difference, because when we go and we are Googling things or seeing things on the internet, we're not always seeing that. So here's the truth. You can't spot reduce fat from your belly. Some people are going to store fat in more areas than the other. Some people are going to lose fat in different areas than the other. So we can't spot reduce a certain thing. And I also just want to pause right there is we each need to have compassion and kindness for ourselves. Like, we can look at different women and we know that there's this apple shape or this pear shape. You know, some people put on more weight in their hips and thighs. Some people more around their belly. Like, whatever a natural tendency is, we really can't do too much about that. And if we feel shame about it, if we keep fighting it, we're going to be stuck in a not great spot. And it's going to be hard to move forward. So whatever your body type is, I want you to bring some more acceptance and love to that. So I am only 5'1". I've always been a pretty short, small person. And it could be easy for me to get frustrated with that. Or I can just bring acceptance to it, because it really doesn't matter. It's just how my body is. So I want you to think about whatever that thing is for you. How can you bring some more acceptance and kindness to your body just the way it is? And it's okay, because we can all be different. And remember, when we're thinking about core, it's real easy to think about wanting to lose the belly fat. But we also want to be strong. We want to have less back pain, and that back pain is connected to our back muscles, but our stomach muscles, our posture, how we pick things up. So we want to be strong. We want to be able to move our body freely. So we can't narrow in just on one thing. We need to think of ourselves as a whole, a holistic person. Look at all those different parts of yourself. All right. So I hope you sort of took these things away from it, that crunches or sit-ups are not the answer to losing belly fat. That we have to really learn how to strengthen our deep core muscles and our full core, our stomach, our backs, our sides, our pelvic floor. And that if we want to lose belly fat, that it's more than just doing some type of core program. We have to have that movement. We have to have strength training. We have to dial in our nutrition. And dial in our nutrition does not mean that we just diet. It means that we fill our body with nutrients. We nourish our body with real good food and what it needs, not more than what it needs. And we don't starve it either. And that you can feel better and stronger without doing crazy workouts. All right, if this hit home for you, I encourage you to share it with a friend. Make sure you grab that free core challenge. And if you're ready to take your fitness a step further, check out my Healthy for Life membership. All those links will be in the description. All right, friends, have a great week.